What's the deal, y'all? It's Collie the One. We are back with another episode, man. If you're watching this, make sure you like, subscribe, share, run me up, get me in the algorithm. Also, if you're watching this, please go head over to the Viral Way podcast, tap in with us, like, share, subscribe, keep us in the algorithm, man. We just want to keep the movement moving, and you guys can definitely help us do that. Without further ado, I want to get right into the news for the week. As you guys know, there's been an ongoing feud between Drake and Kendrick. Probably the biggest rap beef that we've had in a long time. Drake just yesterday dropped, news just came out that Drake filed a lawsuit against UMG for pretty much using illegal practices to go ahead and push Not Like Us to the forefront while then putting him behind. He accused them of using bots as well as the pay-to-play methods, even going as far as firing people that were in Drake's corner in UMG. So then he also dropped a second lawsuit, and my apologies. Let me give a correction. They're not lawsuits. It's just the legal action. It's kind of like a prerequisite to if there's enough information, then a lawsuit will be carried out. However, right now it's still in the pre phases, so it's not a lawsuit at this point in time. I do want to point that out. The second lawsuit is for defamation of character. Pretty much Drake is saying that, or accusing UMG of saying, or accusing UMG, my apologies, of knowing that Kendrick Lamar was going to accuse him of being a pedophile, and they did not stop it. And the ways that they could have stopped it was telling him to edit it or not dropping it. And they did neither. They let him drop that. And Drake is accusing them of doing that so that they can get a lot of revenue, due to this beef, which has been the biggest thing. I think it's the biggest beef at this point. I don't think Ether and Takeover and all that. I don't think that even compares to this at this point in time. We just seen a diss track go number one. We're seeing a diss track be performed at the Super Bowl. We're seeing one of the top rappers that's been on the top of the charts for 15 years go ahead and sue this guy over these songs. Will sue the record label over these songs. So this is, to me, way out of here compared to Takeover and Nas's Ether, beef. This is a whole nother level. But I do want to get into the specific lawsuits and kind of break them down a little bit more so that we can see exactly what goes on. So let me pull those up for us. My bad. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let me put it like this because I like to look like that. Yeah. So let me go ahead and take a look into this, y'all. Okay. So as you see, he's accusing them of gaming the system to artificially inflate his avowed rival's most recent diss track, in which Lamar accuses the former child star of being a certified pedophile, which we did talk about. So there's that part. He's saying that they use the network of bots in conjunction with the so-called pay-to-play scheme to manipulate and saturate the streaming services and airwaves with Lamar's smash hit song "Not Like Us," all to Drake's detriment. So Drake is accusing that they use bots and a pay-to-play method to push this song "Not Like Us" to the forefront, which within the song calling him a pedophile is going to hurt Drake's legacy. Let's keep going. Let's see here. And so there's also another accusation that they paid Apple to have Siri play "Not Like Us" if people were to ask to play "Cry Lover Boy." I did see videos of that happening. I don't know if those are AI. Don't know how true it is, but I did see that out there. So if that is true, then hey, I mean, he deserves what he's getting for that, right? Let's see here. And I did tell you guys about him terminating employees. Let's see here. They're not going to respond. I just want to scroll through it a little bit more to see if there's anything else I can give you guys before I really give my breakdown and my point on it. Okay, now this is key. UMG was one of Spotify's earliest supporters, inking a multi-year global licensing agreement with the streaming giant in 2020. Drake's court filing states it cites UMG's financial reporting, which showed some 2.3 billion in earnings from Spotify in 2023, accounting for nearly 20% of the label's revenues. So Spotify and those streams, that's a big deal, and that brings in a lot of UMG's revenue, almost a quarter of their revenue. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. Let's see here. Okay. Another key part, UMG charged Spotify 30% less than its usual licensing rates in exchange for Spotify pushing recommendations for Not Like Us to users who are searching for other unrelated songs and artists. So pretty much, as you guys just heard on the first lawsuit, he's accusing them of using all these different methods to push Not Like Us to the forefront. How do I feel about it when it comes to Drake? I think even if there's some credence to what Drake is saying, he killed his legacy forever, right? And maybe not forever, but he's blacklisted forever after this for sure when it comes to hip hop and when it comes to the labels. The reason why he's blacklisted forever when it comes to the labels will be because you just got dissed. You just got washed. He stepped on your song that you went and you could tell you put a lot of work into, right? He did call you a pedophile, but overall he washed you on every single track. Kendrick Lamar did. You dropped the Heart Part 6 as your last song, and you pretty much bow out and say, oh, this shit is getting weird. I knew he was going to pull the Epstein angle, et cetera, et cetera. I'm too good for this. I'm out of here. That was a cop out because you knew that you had lost the beef. Fast forward, Kendrick gets the Super Bowl. You're still sending cryptic messages and, posting things online and wearing certain shirts to go ahead. And I guess it'd be a fuck you to the West Coast and to Kendrick Lamar, even though you already lost. So it's over with to begin with. So you're continuing to do these petty things at this point in time, months after the beef. Now it comes out, right? Squabble Up comes out, GNX comes out, and now you want to drop a lawsuit or you want to file a legal action towards Kendrick Lamar or towards UMG for propping up Kendrick Lamar. Rap fans and your rap peers are going to look at this as weak because pretty much what you did was when the tough got going and when you got beat up, you went and told. When you had too many niggas on you and you started to get scared, you ran to the police pretty much and you snitched. That's what this is looking like. And unfortunately, this is something that Kendrick pointed out in his songs, that you're not from the culture. And even if there's some label battles that you have, Drake, you have to understand that rap fans and your rap peers, they don't give a fuck about that. They don't care about that. They care about the art form. And you doing this is proving Kendrick further right and further correct that you're not a part of the culture. You got that white in you because you went and you ran to the feds, quote unquote, when tough got going. And even the way that you're filing legal action against UMG, but it still has to do with Kendrick. So you can sit up here and say, and they tried to clean that up in the articles, oh, well, he's not filing against Kendrick. He's filing against UMG. But it has to do with Kendrick. You're saying that another artist, benefited artificially from the label, and that was to your detriment. So even if you're going at the label, this guy is a byfactor and a casualty of that. So now what you're doing is pretty much saying that, hey, how Kendrick Lamar got that success and ultimately how he won that beef was staged. It's not real. So you damn near pulling a Donald Trump when he lost the election to Joe Biden. This is what you damn near doing. You lost, take your L. Trying to come back and file a legal action against the label to go ahead and say, hey, you guys artificially propped him up. People are going to look at you like, bro, you lost. Take an L. This is crazy, and this is another level of petty. A whole nother level of petty, and I don't think that your rap peers and rap fans will be able to look past this. This is like, we've never seen this in a beef before, ever. And I think for Drake to do this will harm his career for a long time because most people do not, in these types of instances, you're going against the label, you're not going to come out on top anyway. but you sacrificed your credibility. You sacrificed your name, really, and your reputation right now by doing that. Because if you would have just took the L, it would have been all good. But months later to come out and file this legal action or try to start filing a legal action against UMG, saying that they pretty much gave Kendrick the W, is nuts, bro. And you're going to be judged for that. And in my opinion, you shouldn't do any more beefs, because let this be a message to any other rapper that wants to spar with Drake. If you take it too far, if you do what rap beef is really supposed to do, he's going to try to come and get you and tarnish your name in a way that is going to be on paper. Like, he's trying to do it on paper, not even just for street cred. He wants to put it on paper that this is not a real W for Kendrick. This is like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney over here trying to sue Ryan Garcia. He might have took a little something, but he still knocked you the fuck out. You still lost. And that's another part of why I don't think his rap peers and rap fans will give a fuck about this, and why it doesn't really have any credence is because Drake, these same things that you're accusing Kendrick of having on his side, you probably have on your side, knowingly or unknowingly. The same illegal practices that UMG and Spotify, supposedly contributed for Kendrick, they did for you as well. I'm sure. Look at 2018 with Scorpion. Look at how you was set up for that. Look at Views, how you was set up for that. One Dance Controller, you was on the front of Apple when you hit browse. You was everywhere on every playlist for multiple albums. So people are looking at you like, so it's okay when you benefit from it, but not when we do. And that's another thing that's a part. And this is where that disconnect of the culture is. It's making it look more true, because it's okay for you to do it. It's okay for you to use the perks and cheat and to get ahead. But when somebody else does it and it's at your demise, then it's not okay. Even though you were running around the head of UMG or Lucian's, prized possession, shitting on everybody for years. But now that it's not in your favor, you want lawsuits. Your rap fans are not going to deal with that. I don't think they're going to respect that. I think you had a point in time. Thug got out of jail. You gave him $1 million. I think people respected that. You had the No Face song. You had some hate with that, but you had people saying, okay, this wasn't bad. You had Thug mentioning you and Future on Twitter saying, let's make music again. So I think you're at a point right now in your career where if you would have just rolled it out a little bit longer, you would have got out of this. You would have been able to come back out and show face maybe in a couple more months. Now with the lawsuits, capiche. I think you're done. I think anybody that wanted to collab with you, that was looking, to throw you a life vest, is probably like, nah, I can't even do it at this point, because you're not only pretty much accusing the hottest rapper of lying, you're accusing the label. And this is another thing, like Lucian Grange and Elliot Grange own a third or over a third of the music market. That's 35%. A lot of these people that you're going to want to collab with, they might be on UMG. They might not be able to do it now. Even if you're on it, hey, stay away from him. Yeah, I don't want to fuck my chili up. I see he's beefing with the label I'm on. I don't want to fuck my chili up, even though maybe UMG hasn't said nothing. You just know that they're watching and looking at these kinds of things. So I'm not going to take no chances. So he could have shot himself in the foot right now and burnt every bridge he had just trying to call out Kendrick Lamar. Now, why he's going to lose and why it's not going to matter for the label is because the label is going to say exactly what I just said. These same practices that you're calling illegal, quote unquote, are not illegal. This is what we did for you and multiple other artists or other artists. Look at bundles. We had Tyler Creator winning a Grammy for Flower Boy. That was off of bundles. Look at some of the numbers. GNX is doing bundles. We've had certain different deals. So labels have always pushed their prized artists to be successful. They've always pushed their prize artists to be successful, whether that be bundling, whether that be promotion, advertising, whatever it is, whatever practices they use, they've always done that. And you benefited from that. So I think the labels are well within the realm of legality when it comes to how Kendrick Lamar benefited, because they've all benefited the same exact way. It just depends on who you are. Are you up next or are you not? Is it you next or is it not? Whoever's got the gun, the smoking gun at the point in time is gonna get the attention. That's just what it is. And I think Drake is he's meeting his demise right now, and it has a lot to do with ego. Ego, I think, is Drake's biggest contributor to his demise. He's almost like Scarface in this instance, to me, in my opinion. And I want to explain how. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the other lawsuit so that we can go ahead and look at this one, because this is where it's just like the first one though. And I want to get back to the first one. The reason, just real quick, what I can say is that outside of that though, we know the labels and radio and streaming services are ripping off artists. We 100% know that, right? We know that there's a lot of favoritism and shady things at play, whether that be rituals, whether that be signing your name on a dotted line. You have no idea, your 360 deal, production deals and independent deals and all these different things that we get fucked over on. We know that that's a thing. So there is another way to look at this. Like there's looking at it from the way of, okay, rap fans and peers aren't going to fuck with Drake, and then the label's not going to fuck with him. Drake is low key on some bitch shit for this. There's also the other way of he's low key. If this is true, then I mean somebody has to bite the bullet, unfortunately, but it shines a light on the labels in a big way that it never has before. And really the last person who could have shined a light on the labels and had this much leverage was Michael Jackson. Let's keep it 100. So there's no other artist since MJ besides Drake that's able to say something and people be like, oh shit, it's law. Even though UMG and Spotify is declining the comment and taking it easy and all that, they're scared and they're scurrying and they're trying to tie up certain loose ends because there is some shit in their garden, regardless if it has to do with the Drake and Not Like Us or not. There's illegal things and there's cheating ways going on within those organizations for certain people to succeed. That's just the game. The game is the game. So we know that. Now, even though we know it, it doesn't mean that we can prove it. And Drake, being the top artist for this many years and being Lucian Elliott's most prized possession, he probably has the most power out of anybody. Before him, maybe Jay-Z. But Drake has the most power out of anybody to go ahead and shine a light on Elliott and Lucian and possibly take them down, which wouldn't be a bad idea. You talk about how they've even think about Elliott and Lucian, how Elliott's got out of here. Lucian is now the head. They've consolidated businesses into bigger businesses. They've laid A&Rs off and other executives and production people within labels. Unfortunately, people who are brown and black people, mostly. So there's some negative things. And who's to say that with that mass laying off of record execs and label people, that some people in there weren't on Drake's team, which would give credence to the situation of him saying that they tried to fire people that, you know, was looking out for him and putting a good word in for him. So it's definitely a possibility of this going on. You've seen the collapse of the labels. You're seeing how they're buying up all the market. You've seen the weird practices that they do at Atlantic, which was under UMG, right? You've seen that. Lehor Conan, you've seen what they do. So these labels are okay with the beef and the drama, and they might actually egg it on so they can get revenue on the back end. That's not far-fetched to say, y'all. So we do have to, you know, while this is crazy for Drake, oh, Drake, you're a king and doing this, blah, 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 blah. We looking at him like, you're supposed to just shut up because he's Drake. But he's still himself, and he's still within the industry and has a voice, if need be, to go ahead and put it against these people because they've been wreaking havoc on people in the industry for as long as they've been around. These deals have been shitty. Production deals have been shitty. People aren't getting as much as they should. You get what I'm saying? And then when you look at streaming, if I'm making this much money and I got to give you 80% and I'm only making cents on a dollar, I'm walking away with nothing and I'm slaving. Unless you're like Drake or Travis Scott, who never comes off tour. Drake just announced another tour on XQC Stream for Australia. Like, these guys never come off tour because the money doesn't, the label money doesn't pay them. They have the backing, but really what they're doing, what the labels are doing is all the money that you could be making, that all the money that you can see on paper, because there's more that you don't even know about once you get to a certain level. And I'm sure Drake's at that level. But there's money that you're seeing, and what they're doing with that money is they're taking that money and putting it up for your production, supposedly, and your advertisement, and you putting it into the machine to push you. So all of that is pretty much 80 to 90% of your funds are going into that. And then you get left with the rest. If you don't tour, you're fucked. If you have a random occurrence like COVID, you're fucked. What can you do? Can't tour. So Drake doing this, it could be looked at as a pussy move, and I think majority of people will look at it that way, me included. But also you have to have that other viewpoint of it, of what he's saying and accusing him of, or UMG of, is not far-fetched, y'all. And if I'm an artist, and I'm the biggest artist, I could see him wanting to play that game or catch that fade with UMG, because he has the ability out of everybody to do it. So I could definitely see it happening. The second lawsuit. Look at the second lawsuit. So this lawsuit, let's read it a little bit. He filed second action against UMG, alleging defamation over Kendrick Lamar's false song, right? The day after filing an action in New York that we just spoke about, this one is in Texas, pay-to-play scheme to promote the song on the radio. So this has to do with iHeartRadio, pretty much them paying iHeartRadio to put this song in the airwaves, you know, hour to hour, day to day, just all around going crazy, right? Let's see here. This one is pretty simple. That's really all it is, saying that you know, they knew that the song was harmful and they still put it out. They paid iHeartRadio to you know, put the song everywhere. Same shit, different day. Drake doesn't realize that his ego's gotten too big. And I'm going to get back to what I said about him being Scarface. He's intoxicated with wealth and fame at this point, to where he can't fathom it. He doesn't realize that his time is done. And I think that when you sit at the top for that long, you don't understand that. I think it was kind of like Lil Wayne as well. Like, you're at the top, so you can't really tell when there's somebody else coming up there, or when they finally taking your place, because you still got the money, you still got the notoriety. You're living in a bubble where you're number one. So it's not far-fetched for you to feel this way and not realize that you're not it anymore. And I feel like Drake is having a hard time realizing he's not it anymore. He's been on a decline, I would say, music-wise, since Scorpion. I love Scorpion. I like both sides, if that's what you want to call it. The rap side, the melody side. I liked it all. I didn't like CLB. I didn't like Scary. All that other stuff that came after Scorpion in 2018 to me became more immature. You already heard hints of immaturity in Scorpion with Ratchet Happy Birthday and songs like that, right? Kiki, Do You Love Me? You already started to see the immaturity come into play with Drake, starting around 2018. I just think that he doesn't realize that he's not it anymore. And also, he doesn't realize that even though you've been Lucien and Elliot's most prized possession, that doesn't mean that you can't get taken out. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you can't get too greedy. It's like Franklin and Teddy. Franklin thought he was going to be able to make a deal with the CIA and actually get out of that shit alive. Whatever fucked up sick deal Drake made with UMG, he thought, because he was Drake and he's the biggest artist ever, and he's getting paid the most, and Lucian's letting him do whatever and say whatever and dictate certain things, that ultimately he would be powerful enough to avoid what's going to come, which is somebody else comes along and you're not anymore. Whether that be they beat you in a battle or they just do better than you. And I think he's at a point where he thinks, man, I got enough leverage. Fuck these motherfuckers. Let me sue them. You're not bigger than the program. You're not bigger than the labels. That little Spotify shit you're talking about only accounts for a quarter of the label's money and income. You're only one person. While you're big and you're valuable, you've only been around for 15. They've been around for 100. You ain't even been around a quarter of the time they've been around. So playing against the labels is like playing against the feds. It's very unlikely that you come out and you win. Look at Kanye West. That's somebody he should look at. Kanye West tried to play ball. JP Morgan Chase clipped him. Adidas clipped him. He's still doing shows in all these weird ass places, but he ain't never been the same. Let's keep it 100. He has never been the same. They got doctors giving him gas. This is all off of going at the labels and going at the fashion industry and going at all these people. That's what you get when you do that. Nobody wins who goes against these big guys. So I think Drake is at the point, like I said, he's intoxicated with fame and success, and he thinks because they have him up there and they fed him those lies of, we'd never do that to you. You don't seen us chip him and him, but we would never do that to you. We would never just throw you out like you were nothing, Drake. It's not true. It's not true. And now you're next up on a chopping block and you can't believe it. And instead of going out tastefully, you want to send lawsuits at everybody. It ain't going to work. And putting a label and defaming the label's character because you are big and you do have leverage, that just makes them want to say even more, okay, make sure this guy doesn't get another hit. Okay, you want to fuck around and put some eyes on the methods? Make sure this guy never gets another hit ever again. Make sure nobody on UMG collabs with him. Make sure he's blackballed at the Grammys. Like they have the ability to do all of this stuff. Make sure that pedo shit sticks a little more. You seen what happened with Mike when he wanted his masters. He wanted his bread from them. So this is all a possibility going up against the label, and I think his head is so big that he thinks he can actually take the label on. I give him some kudos for trying it, but I don't think it, at the end of the day, is for the betterment of the artist. I think it's for the betterment of him, and that's why ultimately he'll fail. Because this is selfish. This isn't a David and Goliath. He's not trying to protect his people. He's just trying to protect him. You know, it's all to say he won. It's all to say he's the best, and he's still the best. But at this point in time, he's just not. And that's okay. Kendrick has been closely in your shadow, you know, and some people will say he is better than you, but I say from a mainstream point of view, he's been closely in your shadow since Good Kid, Mad City dropped. Really crept up during Damn. So right now, this is just his time. You got to let him have it. But playing ball with the labels like this might get you shelved forever. So we'll see what continues to happen. We'll see if these lawsuits or these legal actions go any further than this. We'll see if UMG comes out and says anything else besides what they say. We'll see if Spotify responds. But until now, we sit back and wait. Drake, I think you should have bowed out gracefully. But, I mean, at this point, you're just shooting yourself in the leg and you're making it worse for yourself. That's really what you're doing. Next topic I want to get into is kicking Shaboozey. Shaboozey, as you guys know, came on the music scenes or the country music scenes on fire with a bar song, Tipsy. I forget the guy's name that he sampled it from. I think J1, something of that nature. Shout out to him. Legendary song. A bar song, Tipsy. Not really necessarily my cup of tea. I do like country, though. I fuck with country. But I don't like that. That sounds too new and too just mainstream industry planners for me. I'm sorry, Shaboozey. I still rock with you, young black man. You're doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. But I wanted to talk about kicking Shaboozey. Recently, the CMA Awards was had, and Shaboozey was nominated for 2 awards. I believe New Artist and Single of the Year. He did not get either. His performance, he did get to perform, which people liked. Some people didn't. But I really wanted to get into a particular instance of Cody Johnson's producer coming out when they won an award, and he says this. So let's take a look at it. Okay.
It takes an army of people to make a great record, but I got to tell you, this is for this cowboy who's been kicking Shaboozey for a lot of years, y'all. Cody Johnson. It takes
Okay. People are outraged. People are saying, racism, the CMAs, what's the word for it? What's the word for it? Damn, I don't even know the word for it. Rob Shaboozey should have got his awards. This is my opinion. Well, I think that's rooted in hate, what he just did right there. And we'll get into his response because his response doesn't even make sense. Black people, and it's the same thing happened with Beyonce. We got to understand something. It's about who has it last, not who found it first. If you don't own it, you can't control it. We haven't been within the country scene for a long time. Now, there's been artists that have been in there. Darius Rucker, Tracy Chapman, etc. But it's a predominantly white genre of music. Now, with that being said, hip hop is a predominantly black genre of music. However, hip hop has an easier barrier of entry. If you're able to go viral, if you're able to be ignorant, whether that be true or untrue, we'll save you a seat at the table. A lot of times, if you're not black and you're white or Hispanic or Asian and you rap, people find you more polarizing. And they want to put you at the table even more in hip hop. They want to parade you around. Look at this white boy, look what he could do. Right? You got your naysayers. For sure you have naysayers that are, oh, fuck that white boy or whoever it is. We don't rock with that. This is an industry plan. This guy is controlled opposition, right? Which a lot of rappers that come in the game, you could look at them as industry plans. Straight up, if they're from another culture. Because how else, if they're not from our culture and from our walk of life and from this artistry, how else did they get catapulted to the top? It would have to be some industry workings, right? You look at people like Jack Harlow, G-Eazy. I'm not saying that they didn't put the work in, but they definitely got more looks than your black counterpart that was trying to make it on the same level playing field as them, right? But black people in hip hop doesn't really care. They'll talk about that for a second, but they won't really make motherfuckers feel uncomfortable about it. Nah, because all you need is a hit. And then everybody rock with you. They don't care. Oh, you came in here as an industry player. Oh, he's cool. I don't care. Nobody usually cares in hip hop. Country, different story. See, hip hop's not owned by us. We try to make it seem like it is and act like it is, but it's not. So we're all for more people coming in because we haven't even yet realized in hip hop that is one of the key parts of our destruction within hip hop. Eventually, the labels are going to try to get rid of us and replace it with these weird industry plans that'll do exactly what they want them to do. And we're really handing it over to them. We're handing the culture and the art over to them because we're so accepting. Now, compared to country. See, country, even though we might have been in it, we gone from it for most part. They have a sense of pride and traditionalism that hip hop just doesn't have. They own that shit. The whites own country. So there's certain prerequisites that they want to see, especially if you're not their color, to say, okay, we rock with you. It should be the same way it should be the same way for us, but it's not. It's not at all. We don't got to know really nothing about you. Look at 6ix9ine. We had no idea if it was true or not, and we took him in and we catapulted him to the top, and he put all the black men in jail or aided and helped when it was all said and done. Got in some problems that he wasn't supposed to get famous, and still was able to back his way out of it with a year of solitary. So we don't care. We don't have no sense of pride or traditionalism. The tradition in our shit is to let everybody in and step over us. That's not the tradition in country. The tradition in country is white is right. They want a certain type of person from a certain type of walk of life within country. And they're going to make it harder for the person that's not white because they don't accept industry plants the way we do. That's why when people said we want Beyonce to come and hang out with us, people were shocked. Oh, what? Like it's Beyonce. To you and to hip hop is Beyonce. You ain't no Luke Bryan. That ain't Luke Bryan or whoever the fuck they listen to. No Darius Rucker. It's a whole different place in fans. We have to stop thinking that we hold so much weight in other genres at this point in time. We do not. And this is proven that. So with Shaboozey, while he's great and he has a hit, that ain't gonna be enough for them to fuck with him. And he's black and he got dreads. This is as much as that sounds like a stereotype, these are things that are off-putting for that genre of music. And that doesn't go within the realm of their traditional look. So he's gonna have to do a hell of a lot more if he thinks people are gonna go up there and rock with him. And I hope he don't think everybody rock with him just because they didn't say nothing. I hope Shaboozey understands that in that genre of music, there's probably 50% of people who rock with you, and then another 50 that don't. And out of that 50, maybe 10% gonna speak up. The rest gonna act like they do fuck with you. So be careful. But this culture and this genre of country music is not as accepting and just, hey, let everybody in as we are. And so we look at things through our gaze. Oh, why didn't they let him in? Or why they fuck with him like that? They hating him. Well, maybe we should do the same. Who are you? I don't know you. Who is this guy? Why is he here on the rap charts? Why is Macklemore getting a Grammy? What the fuck? Like, who is this guy? He's not a rapper. They get placed in our genre all the time, and we just look the other way like it didn't happen, and then complain when they get the awards and accolades. Nah, the country niggas, they like, no, we doing it right now. We want to make these people feel uncomfortable now. We know you don't necessarily belong. We know you're an industry plant. Because let's keep it 100. Lil Nas X, take race out of it. Let's take race out of it. If I'm a country music maker and we've been making music for all this time, and then Lil Nas X comes, a gay cowboy, right? Riding a horsey, talking about Old Town Road. It ain't country at all from what we traditionally know. And this fool blows up. And then he takes off and he goes and starts making other music with rappers and this and that. That's the exact same shit we got mad at Miley for doing. And exact same shit we got mad for Justin Bieber for doing. Coming in the culture, taking a little bit of sauce and dipping. Lil Nas X did it. So the difference is they're just not going to be as forgiving. That's the only difference. And they're going to be more proactive than reactive. That's just what it is. So while they shouldn't have said that, Cody Johnson's producer shouldn't have said shit because he's hating. He hating on a young nigga because at the end of the day, country is looking for that difference. It's looking for that spark. It's looking for that pizzazz and that sauce that it doesn't necessarily have. Right? It's looking for some of us to take it to the next level because musically we take things to the next level because of our creativity. Point blank, period. So there's a hunger for that right now out there. So Shaboozey's potential and reality, you know what I mean? Everything's meeting up for him at this point in time. He just has to keep going. But for everybody to be outraged is stupid because this is what it was going to be. This is the hate he was going to get. Oh, it's 2024. It don't matter. These genres are traditionally, this is hundreds of years being this way. They don't give a fuck about what year it is. Tradition is tradition. So while he shouldn't have said it, Shaboozey, let that roll off your shoulder because you might have a lot more of that coming. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you. That's somewhat, I'm not going to say your fault, but somewhat something you have to know you're going to deal with in a predominantly white genre. It's like being a swimmer in the 19 whatever. Like, come on, you're going to walk in the gym, you're going to be the only black person there. What you think going to happen? It's not far-fetched. Like, it's just not. So I don't think there's anything to be outraged by me personally. But I want to read his response. This is all he said. He said it was a joke. That's it. That was supposed to mean, look. It was supposed to mean, here we go. Let me see. Look, he's saying it was an apparent pun on the phrase "kicking booty," but Willman's words still drew backlash, especially during a show where Shaboozey's stage name was a punchline on a couple different occasions. So again, this is a dog whistle. We know what white people do when they can't pronounce a name. They make a joke out of it instead of trying to pronounce it. Seen that a million times. People have done it with my name to try to, you know what I mean? And really what it is, it's a microaggression because instead of understanding my name and trying to say it, you want to make a joke out of it. You know, this is something my name is Kali, and people have done that to me. So I can understand people doing it to Shaboozey. That's what this was. This wasn't I was trying to make a joke. Even comparing my name to an ass or to booty is crazy to begin with, and that's a fade anyway to begin with. Like, just that alone, you're comparing me to an ass is crazy. So he tried to clean it up, but he doesn't realize within trying to clean it up, he made even more of a fool of himself. Best thing to do is just say, you know what, it was wrong. I'm sorry. I don't think that was a joke at all. He said that because he thought he was going to be slick and people was going to be like, oh, burn, type shit. People was like, what? Like, the joke didn't even make sense. There's no correlation there. So you was just hating at the end of the day. So fuck that guy. But at the end of the day, Shaboozey, you got to be ready for this type of shit because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Let's see here. Last topic, and I'm up out of here. GNX album review. November 22nd, 2024. Kendrick Lamar dropped GNX, which is either a mixtape or an album. I'm not 100% certain. I want to go down the track list real quick because I think it's important. 4 days since the album is dropped. What I want to say 4 days in is this shit is I had it at an 8.5. This shit is a 9 out of 10. It's not a 9.5 out of 10. This is almost, I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. This is almost a perfect album. On the Viral podcast, I was saying, I like Kendrick in his Kendrick bag more, which I do. But I had to get out of that thinking and realize what he was trying to do and what his objective here was at hand. Like the fact that he can make an introspective album like To Pimp a Butterfly and then come and make GNX is crazy. Because for years, I never knew Kendrick had this even kind of shit in him. We knew he was from where he was from and he's from Compton, but we never really heard him ride on the West Coast beats like that. Because this was the shit that I feel like we grew up listening to house parties too. Like we would go to the function and those are the type of beats and songs that were on when we grew up being from the West Coast. That's what we party to. So hearing Kendrick on them party type records is crazy, bro, especially being for the West Coast. This album is not really for people that's outside the West Coast or they don't like the West Coast sound. With that being said, I think he's still putting the West Coast back on the map because he's made the sounds, be relatable to everybody. A lot of it has to do with the different voices and the words and the certain, things he does and cadences that other LA artists, might not have been able to do. But he was definitely able to make the songs and take the LA sound to the next level, in my opinion. And so to me, it's a 9 out of 10 at this point. There's only one song I don't really even rock with. And I'm not going to say I don't like it because it's not a bad song. It's just not my favorite song to listen to. And that's Gloria for me. Reincarnated, that's my favorite song off the record. I think that's him talking as Pac reincarnated, and then being, talking from God to the devil that was thrown out of heaven to come down here. And it's so deep. It's crazy. I love Whacked Out Murals. I love that. I love Dodger Blue. I love songs like Dodger Blue. That reminds me or makes me think of what, LA would look like in the late 80s, early 90s. You know what I mean? The sun setting, you in a 5.0 Fox body, Dayton Rims. Like, that's the vibes that Dodger Blue gives me. Amazing vibes. Like, the whole album is great, honestly, and it continues to grow on me. Now, I understand that it's lacking lyricism and content and deep content matter. But I think the point of the album was to put West Coast music and West Coast sounds on. With that being said, he gave us introspect. He gave us deep shit. He gave us Man in the Garden. He gave us Gloria. He gave us Heart Part 6, talking about his whole life pretty much. He gave us Reincarnated. He gave us those tracks. So out of a 12 song, or how many songs is it? Out of 12 songs, he gave us 3 or 4, you know what I mean? Deep tracks with deep content on it. So to me, this is just another album that proved his versatility and how when he sets his mind to something, he's able to knock it out the park, 10 out of 10, because even in Reincarnated, he had the pop cadence down to a T, in my opinion. Certain points he raised his voice and showed emotion on a track. That was some student of the game shit. He's really able to go in there and come out, with a finished product that was good. He put lesser known LA artists on here. He had Dodger Blue, which was Roddy Ricch, Siete, Wally the Sensei. I thought that was great, how they both all floated on the track. You got SZA on here a couple of times. Squabble Up is crazy, especially after the visuals drop and you understand all the different Easter eggs about the West Coast in that. It's crazy, right? Like, I like GNX to keep it 100 with Hit a J3 and Peso. I think that's a great song. Like, again, these aren't songs you're going to say, I'm coming to learn about Kendrick or go deep. This is shit you're going to bob your head to, which I'm going to keep it 100. I feel like we've been missing some of, especially on the West. So these songs remind me of going to the function. You at the function with the homies. One of these songs come on, niggas start turning up, shit get out of hand, somebody's shoe gets stepped on, niggas catch a fade, now somebody go to the car, they coming back to air it out, you leaving, you hear shots let off, y'all laughing on the way to wherever, talking about the night was crazy. That's the vibes that a lot of those songs give me. And so maybe some nostalgia comes into play with some of the beats and cadences that make me feel like, damn, this reminds me of being younger. That's the kind of vibes that those songs give me. So I love them, and it continues to grow on me. I think it's good. And he really took a risk by taking a regional sound and putting it on a mainstream level, because we haven't really had anybody be able to do that in a long time. Shit, since Pop, right? Like, you look at a lot of Kendrick's albums, and they're not West Coast. Like, they not West Coast sounding. You know what I mean? You got the people that's on SoundCloud, and, people who are gang affiliated that make music that is known in LA, but outside of that, we don't really have it on a mainstream level. So this was great. It showed depth. It showed versatility. I get an album of 9 out of 10. It's grown on me. I think the songs are fantastic. There's really nothing bad to say. I'm gonna run down the track list real quick and just, I ain't even gonna do that because I like every song. Whacked Out Murals, I think is great. You got Darea on the front of that. Phenomenal. Squabble Up, like I said, the visuals plus the song and that sample, bro, it's crazy. And I know it's gonna have the old heads and the essays and everybody going crazy. And I can't wait to get outside, honestly, and hear these songs outside on the West Coast. Like, I know that's what I'm missing. Like, I've heard it in the car, it's going crazy, but I know once I get outside at a spot, it's gonna be crazy. Luther is something you could really ride out to. It's beautiful. You can play that back to back. Loop that. That's fire. Man at the Garden, he deserved it all. Like, it's deep. It's a flip on one mic, I think, by Nas. Great. Hey Now featuring Dodie Six. I love that. You could kind of hear that's some Bay Area type shit to me personally with the beat. I fuck with it. Reincarnated, already got into that. TV Off. He's been going viral for the mustard shit, right? In my opinion, I like the first half of TV Off better than the second half, right? It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. I like that better than the second part. But overall, shit is fire. Dodger Blue, again, smooth. The lyricism ain't really there. Who cares? This is a vibe. Peekaboo. AZ Chike, he always does this shit on features. He needs more praise too, because he's been on Blue Lips and he's been on Kendrick shit. So he's out here is on the West Coast. He's 6 Man of the Year. He might be. Heart Part 6, great song. Can't say nothing about it. Talks about some of his stories. GNX, I liked it. Tell him Peso did it. Tell him Hitta did it. Tell him Kendrick did it. Gloria, it's okay. Sonically, I'm whatever on it. It's slow. It's a sleeper for me. But you can see the work he put into it. So overall, I think GNX gets a 9 out of 10. This is a great body of work. And he really did one for the West Coast. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar, man. Shout out to TDE. Keep foots on niggas' necks, really. Yeah, man. Without further ado, though, if you guys are watching this, please like, subscribe, man, share. Keep me in the algorithm. If you're watching this, go over to the Viral Way podcast. Like, subscribe, share. Keep us in the algorithm. I'm Kali the One. I don't know where y'all are going, but you got to get the hell up out of here.